So, but you guys can hear me okay? I'm going to take
Yes,
that.
we are hearing you.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. Okay, let's give it a shot. Okay, hold on here. Okay, so I guess we have around 45 minutes or so, or is that about right for time?
No, we have more time. You can feel free.
Okay, and are you guys okay with me playing you some of my films as well?
Yes.
I was gonna, yeah, okay, so perfect. So basically, I'll start now. My name is Farhan Umedaly. I'm a filmmaker, and I became a film educator not long ago. Essentially, I want to tell you a little bit about how I became a filmmaker focused on documentaries that not just are about making a positive impact, they're about catalyzing positive change. So how to not just document stuff, but how to actually change the way people think and actually make, actually create something from it. And not as a documentary filmmaker, we live in a world now where there's a lot of bad, but there's also a lot of opportunity to do good. And I think that being a filmmaker wasn't something I studied. I fell into it, and I realized that I have a lot of power, that I have a responsibility to the world to not just try to help others and the environment, but to also teach so that other people can do the good work that we need to. And so, yeah, so I thought I'd just start with there. And I also want anybody who's here to please cut into the presentation and ask me questions. I don't want this to be me just talking. We're a small group of people, and we should just like have a good time. You know what I mean? And just chat. So so how did I get here? And you guys can see my screen okay now, right? So, and I need somebody to talk to me. Otherwise I'm gonna be confused because this is how I am. So somebody's gotta say yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Because yeah, we live in this world of COVID, and it's like, we're talking to like a computer, but is there somebody actually here? So anyhow, I was born in Vancouver, Canada. I live here, and that's on the west coast of Canada, if you guys know where that is. And basically, I'm in a Ismaili Muslim, and there's a lot of actually of us in the Gorno-Badakhshan area of Tajikistan. I think that's where you guys are in Tajikistan. So an interesting connection. I essentially studied neurobiology in university. I wanted to study science because I wanted to make sure that I had like a technical background that would be able to give me a good future in a world where technology and science is obviously important. And but from a young age, I was very passionate about music. So I started with classical violin, drums, guitar, and piano, and I taught myself several other instruments. And when I finished my cardiovascular research at the University of British Columbia, I moved to Lebanon and Egypt. And at that point, I was producing music for an Arabic pop singer and a few other Arabic singers. So I was in show business. And I think some of you guys probably know about this thing called the Me Too movement. Who's heard of that? Has anybody heard of the Me Too movement?
I wrote an article, Farhan.
Yeah, Natasha, it's good to have you. So for sure. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. So Natasha's in San Francisco. She's an entertainment lawyer and actually helped in a film that I produced as well. So Natasha, it's really nice of you to tune in Tajikistan time as well. So
yeah, excited for this presentation.
Yeah, thanks.
Farhan is an amazing filmmaker, very, very talented. He makes very high quality film footage, drone work, very creative person. So very lucky to have you tonight.
Thanks. So what I was saying was like, basically, like if you guys know about the Me Too movement, that's basically the uncovering of the ugliness in the entertainment business, which I was really in a part of. And I realized that like the beautiful music that I was trying to create and entertain the world, and I wanted people to express myself, came hand in hand with exploitation of women. And in the Arabic music business, and that's where I was, I would have had to like turn a blind eye to that and be completely okay with all of this stuff happening. And I was not okay with that. And I decided that I didn't want to have anything to do with this business. And basically I gave up on my dreams of being a music producer for that reason, because nowadays the hashtag is Me Too, but back then I was thinking like, if hashtags existed back in 2006, it would have been like, who isn't being exploited by the ugly, sinister men in the entertainment business? And so I came back to Vancouver. I wanted to reinvent myself, and I wanted to work in a field where I could actually use my science background to help others and like do something positive. So I forgot all about my music and video production skills, which I acquired in the music entertainment business, and started working as a renewable energy developer for a Scottish-based renewable energy consultancy. So I was planning wind energy projects. And what I realized at that time was that to make positive change, and all these companies that are technology companies, that have amazing things that they want to accomplish, but they need to tell their story. They need to inform the public about how science and engineering and technology works and how their solutions are going to benefit society. So I thought to myself, oh, this is perfect. Every single renewable energy project, we're giving people like engineering studies this thick. There's actually 10 times this thick, and nobody's going to understand anything. So why don't I make short films about it? So my first project was actually for like a $500 million capital cost run of the river, like a small hydro project. And I did an animation and whole presentation, and I filmed from a helicopter and produced this video. That was actually my neighbor's project. And how this whole thing started was, I was standing on the deck and looking at him, and we would talk about how his project was going, and he was telling me, I have a presentation to these 4 bankers responsible for $500 million worth of capital investment to make this project happen. And he said to me, I said, well, how are you doing this? How are you going to present this? And he said, well, I have engineering studies this thick. And I said, well, what if one of these bankers has a bad day or an argument with his wife or something? And what if they're where they're tired and they're not going to understand what you do? And he's like, well, what's your point? And I said to him, well, you know what? I can produce for you a beautiful marketing video that explains the socioeconomic benefits, the technical information, and they will actually be able to see the river and the power of the river that's going to create this energy. And so he's like, wow, this is a great idea. Well, how much will this cost? Well, I had no idea what to charge, right? So basically what happened was, I knew the project was worth $500 million. So I had a huge advantage, right? So my video is going to help convince these people to give that money. So I said, I'll have to do a proposal for you. And he said, no, I don't have time for this. And I said, okay. He's like, I want you to tell me what this is going to cost now. And I said, how much is a new camera? How much is a new computer? How much is all the software I need to make a video production company? And I came up with $25,000. And basically I told him, okay, it'll cost $25,000. He said, okay, what are you doing this weekend? And I said, I'm free. I'm absolutely free, because that was a lot of money to me at the time. I was just making hundreds of dollars per day, like working really hard in this other company at the time. So he's like, okay, leave your phone on, and I'm going to call you in 15 minutes. And so I literally had my phone like this, and I was just waiting for the phone call. And basically he called me 15 minutes later, and he said he booked an airplane for me and a helicopter with the door off so I could film the whole site. And I went and did it, and I produced this short film, and I realized that, wow, like a small video could have a huge impact in like building a renewable energy project, right? And so basically from there, Vovo Productions was born. And at the end of that video, I had a Vovo Productions logo. And from there, I have this studio. This is where I am now. Obviously, I look much cooler in this photo because the lighting was better and I was not as sleepy. It's 11 p.m. here. So anyways, I've been producing commercials for 11 years. I've been doing this. So I've done like more than 250 productions. And but 5 years ago, I decided to change what I was doing. So I was marketing renewable energy technologies and doing these like kind of commercials for sustainable energy, basically projects. And Canada, my country, which is a democratic country, it's supposed to be a free country, was changing in a very nasty way. We had a prime minister named Stephen Harper, and he was actually very much like along the lines of Trump. And Natasha, who's tuning in here, who's a liberal and educated woman who stands up for like justice, knows the erosion that can happen in just 4 years, right? I mean, Natasha, you can see what's happening in your country there, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's very important to have elected officials that are accountable and work for the citizens of its country,
Right.
not for themselves. So
Totally.
very much.
So yeah, so essentially what happened though, like as I was born in Canada, you know, like I didn't actually know any indigenous people growing up, not one. And of course Canada was built on colonization, which means that Canada actually was actively trying to, and that was the British at the time, like had come and invaded and like basically they wanted to eradicate the indigenous people or assimilate them into society so that they would no longer have an identity. They would be part of this colonial system, which is designed to exploit the land. And I saw this continuation in the new government that we had in Canada. And also, as Indigenous people were being called radicals and terrorists for trying to protect the environment, Muslim people like myself, and probably some of you guys, you've seen in the media how can quickly be called, if something blows up and it's like, Islam is a threat to humanity. They blame all Muslims, and I saw this happening, and the government was doing this to my people here. And we had like things were changing so much, and so I decided to become more political, and I started protesting to protect the environment. And the indigenous people are the ones who are protesting with. We're all standing beside each other, and I realized that I needed to lend my support to the cause of Indigenous and human rights in Canada, and also be a part of the solution. And that would mean that I would have to take a political stance and sacrifice and maybe make some enemies, because sometimes you have to do what's like, you can't be everybody's friend if you want to stand up for what's right. And sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself and what you've worked for. And I don't know how many of you guys feel the same way, but like life is short and you have to stand up for what's right. So what ended up happening was I was protesting at this pipeline, anti-pipeline protest, and I met the grandson of a very famous environmentalist, which I was working with, and his name is David Suzuki. And David Suzuki's grandson and I decided to work together. So because I saw him like with a big megaphone protesting and speaking to, but you know, trying to create awareness, but he was always speaking to the same people. He was speaking to people who already care about Indigenous rights, people who already care about the environment. So I told him, look, it's my job to convince people, no matter who they are, about the benefits of things through video. So if we work together, I can use my state-of-the-art production company and we can humanize Indigenous people and humanize why we need to protect the environment. So we started a project together. And I wanted to just show you a couple nice pictures of me. I get to travel to so many interesting places, and I'm known for being able to doing whatever it takes to get the shot. This is me on top of a place called Appa Glacier, and it's like a very, very far journey from Vancouver. I had to take a snowmobile to get here, and it's very easy to actually disappear into the ice because there's actually holes in here underneath the snow. So it's quite risky work. So some of the environmental documentaries I do, I have to put my life on the line to do the work, just to show you guys. So long story short, me and this guy, Tamo, heard about a pipeline that was going to be built illegally by the Canadian government and BC provincial government. And it was going to be built through Indigenous land and take away their land and basically destroy the river, which they depend upon for their food and their survival. And for me, that's totally not okay. And I decided that we should go there and occupy that island before the Indigenous people are kind of kicked out by the police and before the construction happens. So we can actually make to send like pieces of media to the newspapers. And I realized that So we went there and I started interviewing people and sending media to the news channels and stuff. And I found out something interesting. Nobody was interested. The news channels were not interested at all about this area because it was so far away from where people vote in a democracy like democratic government. People, generally politicians, care about who's voting and where the votes are. But indigenous people don't really vote a lot, and there's not a lot of people here. So the land can be absolutely destroyed for corruption and for the fake promise of economic gain. So I got so angry that even the newspapers weren't trying to cover this that I turned it into a documentary. And so this is that place that we were trying to protect. It's called Lilu Island. So this is Lilu Island over here. Can you see my mouse? I don't even see my mouse. Can you guys see that or not really? No, I can't see my own mouse. So these are the things I have to deal with in online world. But you can see the island over there, guys. And underneath it, you see that area of sand? That's called Flora Bank, and that's where millions of juvenile salmon spend their time before they go out into the ocean and before they go up the river and lay their eggs and spawn. And so this is a very important place because indigenous people all the way up this major, huge river, which is the second largest river in British Columbia, they all depend on the health of this river for survival. Does anybody have any questions about this or anything I've said so far? Any questions so far? No, just laughing. I hear. It's okay. So anyways, this area is very important. So this is where the juvenile salmon are. So I produced this film called The Last Stand for Lilu. And this film won more than 24 international film awards. And this is something I didn't really expect. But we hosted more than 45 screenings of this film, and it funded all of the proceeds, all of the profit for these screenings went straight to the indigenous people to protect this area. And we actually ended up defeating this project. So we actually stood up against the Canadian government, the BC provincial government, the police, and Malaysian oil and gas giant Petronas, which had $36 billion ready to go. And for like a handful of people occupying an island to defeat a project like that, it's pretty big accomplishment. So actually my dog downstairs, she's sleeping. Her name is Skina because I adopted my dog to celebrate our victory. So I thought to myself, how can I go beyond stopping stuff? Because when you're standing up for indigenous rights, sometimes there's a perception of indigenous people just wanting to live like the old days and stopping anything that's progress. And that means like that you can't be a modern, functional human being in society. So I thought to myself, what can I do better than just stopping stuff? I created this thing called the Empowered Filmmaker Masterclass, which is an educational program that lives today. And basically the focus of this program is to train and teach indigenous people how to produce films for themselves so they can protect their own environment, our shared environment. They're protecting environment on behalf of all humanity. And also, they have a lot of damage done to them through colonization. Their languages have been stolen, taken away from them because they've been banned in certain places. Like, I think that you'll find in remote communities, even like places in Tajikistan, globalization is affecting languages, even like the Shogini language in Gorno-Badakhshan. Like these are languages that are not being passed on as often. And so they can die. So we need to do a lot of restorative work. And filmmaking, I believe, is an amazing way to restore and protect culture. So if I can teach more people to produce films and fight the good fight, then I don't have to do the work myself. It's not all about me. I want to create a legacy and an army of people, such as yourselves. If you're interested in filmmaking, I can teach you how to do it. I taught myself filmmaking, and now I'm a film instructor at the Simon Fraser University. I have my own film school. I'm producing films all the time, every day. This is what I do. And I love having an impact in the world, being able to like not just do the films, but actually help others to do I will live on through the good work that other people do. And my students are amazingly talented. So actually this program, we have it's only 5 days. So you don't know anything on the first day. On the last day, you're watching your beautiful 4K documentary, and you get a certification of completion. My best students get film awards, which are like Oscar-style beautiful film awards. And I also gift my students cameras. So I'm not just teaching filmmaking and saying bye. I'm leaving them with tools that they can use to help do the meaningful, positive work that they need to do. That's what I want in my life. So I can show you some photos from my program. This is one of my really good students. And we're using 4K camera gimbals and MacBook Pros with Adobe Premiere. So like very state-of-the-art stuff. You can see my student here using a gimbal, which is a 3-axis stabilized camera. And why I use these stabilized cameras is that it's easy to get a really great shot right away without, and they're portable. So you can climb a mountain and just pull it out. You don't have to have a huge camera and a tripod and all the heavy gear that sometimes we have to like hurt ourselves carrying around. So technology is making it easy for one person to change the world through filmmaking, because all you need is your cell phone. Literally, this cell phone is more powerful than my camera 5 years ago. And I know like that's 5 years ago, that's a while ago, but this thing is damn small. I can put it in my pocket. That camera was like this big. So that's why I believe in like that we can all change the world through filmmaking. All you need is the small camera or your cell phone and some skills and a good story, which a lot of us have. And if we're not telling the stories that matter, other people will do it for us. So all of the ladies here, world needs you to have a voice, because women have been pushed down so much historically by men. I don't feel like that is good for humanity at all. And we need to work together. And so the way you can change the world is by putting your stories out and building bridges. And I think like, does anybody believe what I feel like it's a time of change? Like, you know, like, I mean, any of you guys feel like filmmaking is a positive tool? Like, maybe one of you, hopefully. I'm just talking to myself, am I? Hey, Umed's here. Hey, Umed, how you doing?
I'm doing well. What about you?
Cool, cool. Yeah, very quiet crowd. They're very quiet, but I hope they like me. I'm hoping.
Yeah. They like you, but we have some internet issues over here, and that's why the people are like they don't feel like they are a little bit shy.
Oh,
We have like some language barrier difficulties, but
yeah.
what you talk about, women, and women are being like pushed down by men. I really like that idea, and I think by making the film and educate about harassment and about physical abuse, we will make a change. And I really like that idea. And if some of us with participant we do that kind of film,
Mm,
and we give assistance for making and for shooting a video, and
sure.
I think it would be a great idea.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of good stories, but like we have to work together to like help. We can change the world through film, I believe. But I'll just continue with this. So like, you know, I constantly, like, if anybody here wants to actually work on a film together, I will probably be coming to Tajikistan in September, and I'm
mhm.
working on a documentary there. So I would be happy to meet you and show you my film gear, and like, of course, you know, and like help you become a filmmaker, because I really just want that. I would like to help people do it, and it's really easy to start. All you need is a week of training. I learn every day something new on YouTube. Every single day, I'm learning on my own how to be a better filmmaker. So this is my program. Like, I have the certifications so I make my students feel really good. I want them to feel like they have a voice. And I'll just share with you some photos of all of us editing in our. So I usually train 25 participants, and then each group of 5 is a production team. So we make 5 films in 1 week, and then we watch them and celebrate them. And my students get really awesome media training, how to run interviews, how to get the best messaging out of people, how to connect with people, how to make people less shy. I'm not doing a very good job of making you guys less shy. but I'm trying to do that.
You're doing a
Farhan,
good job.
Yeah.
Farhan,
Yes.
I have a question, Farhan.
Yes.
So I applaud you for recommending people to go out and make social justice films and stories.
Yeah.
How do you do this if you feel scared? For example, if your government is very oppressive, or
Yes.
the subject matter that you are filming is very sensitive,
Yeah.
how do you go about doing this and encouraging people
Yeah. Well,
to
so
safely do it? To safely do it.
I had the same passion too.
yeah, well, so this question will depend where you are regionally. Like, for instance, if you're trying to like take on the government in a place like Tajikistan, I don't recommend it necessarily because your career will be very short, probably. But like myself in Canada, I could get away with that because this is a place where, you know, what I would recommend is you have to choose your battles. Honestly, if you're stuck in a prison somewhere, locked up, then you're really not going to have you'll have a very short career. I just don't know if you have to decide what's worth it. And some things are worth dying for, but you have to believe it yourself. When I decided to go to Lilu Island and fight for protection of that island, we were taking on the police. They were private security monitoring our phones. We were dealing with $36 billion. Even in a democratic, so-called free society where you think you have rights, you can be sued for millions and millions of dollars, which you don't have, and be stuck in a court every single day. And that means you don't have rights. Who has more money wins. And so you have to be really careful about how you do this, for sure. But at the same time, there's a lot of good you can do without trying to like change like the government. I mean, like sometimes there's things like it depends how big you want to go, right? You know what? But you have to be careful. You have to be careful, absolutely. Be smart. Be smart about it. Like I'm lucky because I'm based in Canada. I get to maybe I can go to a country. I can do a story about it, and a story about something very very controversial, and I can leave and come back to the safety of Canada. Where in Canada, I can actually tell a government official, a senior government official, you don't know what you're talking about. Why are you doing this? And I can do that right to their face, and I cannot be arrested or put in jail. But there's places where you will be, and so we just have to be. Maybe if you guys want, I can do the story for you, and I'll just run back to Canada or whatever, however you want to do it. Work collaboratively with people. I don't know if that's the best answer, but best answer.
Farhan,
Yeah.
hello?
Yeah.
Farhan, can you hear
Yeah.
me?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, so you are telling everything about everything, and it's so interesting. I would like just to know if you could share some links to YouTube just to watch your content and to watch
Sure.
your clips if you have made any, because like it's really fascinating what you are doing, and
Sure.
of course we would like to be part of that. So
Sure.
if you have any online master classes or just any online options for being a part of your team, that would be also good. So
Yeah, very cool. So like, for instance, there's an opportunity actually for anybody in Tajikistan, because I'm trying to produce a documentary about the area of Badakhshan and the culture there. So if anybody wants to be part of the film crew to help me in that journey, I'd be more than happy. Like I would love to have a crew of people that I could train and we could go film in different places. That would be ideal. I can show
I'm
you. How much time do we have, guys? I don't want to take too much time. I thought I would show you a few little pieces of my work if you wanted here. And I can share with you links as well.
Yeah, we would love.
I can play a trailer for, do you want me to play a trailer for this film that I just did?
Yeah, I would like to see. I would like to watch it.
Okay, hold on here.
yes,
Let me,
please do.
sure, let me just get, I'll probably do it from here. I'm just gonna share the computer audio. This is a trailer only for a film that I just finished, and I can share with you guys the link to the full film afterwards, okay? So just let me know what you think. So this is a trailer for a film that was just released, and I can share with you guys the actual link. I'll also play with
The Gitsan traditional.
That's actually the full film. Sorry, that is actually the full film. So you can see there's a lot to show in here, but I actually can show you some really neat parts of this. I actually got a chance to hold on. I'll actually show you this part from here just for a few minutes if you want. Hold on. I'll play for the first few minutes.
The Gitsan traditional territories, or Lahip, occupy an area of 33,000 square kilometers in northwest British Columbia. Control of the Lahip is divided into house groups or WILP. Each WILP territory is maintained as a functional ecosystem that sustains each WILP member and is headed by a chief. It is the chief's responsibility to ensure the sustenance of his WILP members. Harvesting and traditional processing of salmon is central to the survival of the Gitsan. It has been this way since time began.
The river carries the fish, hun. The fish is our spirit. That's our spirit. People are always saying that they commune with nature. The Gitsan are like that. We commune with nature. We have a relationship with fish and all the animals and all the land, all the trees, everything. We love them and we want to sustain them for future generations, thousands of generations to come. There's no such thing as downstream and upstream. It's all Gitsan, people of the San. Git means people of, and San means the river. The real name of the Skeena River is called Gitsien, and that means people of the cloudy river.
Within each WILP,
Well, that's a little clip from my film, but you can see I get to see these amazing places. Look at these bears. I can just show you that shot.
the Gitsan no trespass laws are not just about mutual respect. They are in place to ensure the integrity and biodiversity of their lahip.
You can see that animal is a huge bear. It takes a lot of guts and like patience to get a shot like that. And like I can kind of coast through this, but yeah. Did you guys like that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Farhan, I have a couple of questions. The first one,
Sure.
I mean, have you ever used your films for advocacy purposes or like, for lobbying? Because as I understood, you are just trying to fight for the natural resources and for indigenous people's rights.
Yes.
So have you been ever, have you ever been successful in like, doing advocacy and then pulling like, lots of people's interest or stakeholders attention to these
totally
issues?
So rather than just stopping a project or something like that. Yes, absolutely. So what I decided to do is like, so after this, I was actually connecting with a lot of different indigenous communities. And for instance, some of our films, I partnered with a renewable energy developer who's an indigenous company. And we actually produce documentaries for renewable energy projects. So about the story of building an indigenous renewable energy projects. And we use the film as a way to get financing and support for the project. So we actually go to like leading solar energy companies and say, give us free solar panels, give us inverters. We talk to the government, we say, you will give us money for the solar project. We're going to advertise your contribution through a film that's going to be distributed around the world. And we successfully built the largest community solar project in my province as a result of that. And so we're using films as a way to attract people to actually do positive things. Another situation was the Gitanyao, an indigenous community, was used my film that I produced for them to raise and funds to bring in basically donations to fund their environmental restoration initiatives and protect their land. In another case now, I'm doing a documentary about that will launch an indigenous protected area. We're going to take a huge area of my province, British Columbia, and make it an indigenous protected area. And we are going to declare that, not ask for permission, we're going to declare that is an indigenous protected area through a film that I will be producing starting in 2 weeks. I just had it approved 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, fantastic. It's just really fantastic. So keep up doing your best work.
Thank you. Yeah. Is there, I could show you, I don't know how much time we have, but I could show you a 2-minute little piece if you wanted that was shot in Malaysia. You guys might like it too. I'm not sure how much time we have though. You'd have to just tell me. Should we go for it? I just need to know who, oh yeah, sure, sorry. Yeah. So, but don't forget to talk to me because I don't know because I can't see anything.
Okay. Yeah, just move. Yeah.
I am Chak Koyok. I am from indigenous Temuan people of Malaysia. We have been here since time began. The jungle has always provided us everything we needed to survive. When we leave this world, we believe that we return to nature as a spirit, or Muyang. When we need something from our environment, we ask permission from our Muyang and provide an offering. If we do not do this, if we take more than what we need, the spirit will punish us in different ways. This is the law of our jungle. Now, people are building concrete jungles here in Malaysia and all over the world, growing endlessly. Some call it development. It's a trap. If we surrender to greed, we are feeding a bad spirit which will continue to grow and take the place of our happiness. We must not forget that inside all of us is an indigenous heart. We are all connected. We all need balance. We need balance to be happy. Before you take pay respect to Moyang, you can reduce your impact. Reconnect with nature. Malaysia can be a leader in protecting our planet. Take climate action.
Yeah, so there's another short piece that is about protecting the environment. And that was released on national TV in Malaysia to help inspire climate action. I could show you a lot more, but I don't know how much time we have. And yeah, I think maybe what we could do is just take some questions right now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Ask question.
Yeah. So does anybody have any questions? There's like a bunch. There's Zibu, there's Tahmina, Feruza, Aziza, Aijan, Medina. I know. Okay. Anybody? Any questions? Any comments?
I think.
Farhan, I have a question.
Okay, sure.
I was just wondering if you do self-funding for organizing your master classes, or just all on organizing, like, you know, just some studios for anybody who would like to be a filmmaker, or you are just using grants or other like fundraising instruments for that.
So my main educational program that you saw that I was showing you photos of, that's actually funded by a company called TELUS. And TELUS is a huge cell phone company in Canada. So they have there's a government mandate for them to provide like community support and training as a part of them being a big media company, like a big cell phone company. So I help them. I basically secure those funds through a grant. So I apply for a grant and get funded. My program started with 25 students. The following year was 75, and then last year 100. This year, due to coronavirus, I'm only going to be training about 20 people. But I also teach at Simon Fraser University, and I also do like private like trainings, like for different institutions and organizations. So generally, I've tried to make it like sustainable in the sense that I have to make a living too. So I do a lot of volunteer work, but like for the master class program, I'm either invited or like it's part of my job basically.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Good. It's good to know. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. But if it's like an interesting thing, like for instance, like I did a training in Malaysia where they flew me there. I'm also doing fine financially, doing films and producing. I'm not only about money with regards to training. So if there's a good opportunity to connect with community and have an impact, I'm not going to take money to the next life or to my grave. I'm here for a very short time on earth, like we all are. I want to have a positive impact. So I never put money before the mission, and the mission is to help people and help the environment.
Wow, that's great. It just means that you are a very self-conscious person. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
And Farhan, I have another question.
Sure.
So when you were in Tajikistan, I saw that you made a film about Tajikistan.
Yeah.
by that time I was in United States
Yeah.
and I really missed my country. And one day I just watched your video and it just made me to feel like I'm at home, and especially in the mountainous area, you know. And first of all, I really want to thank you for just making that film. And my question is that when you were in Tajikistan, and what difficulties you had during that making that film?
Okay.
I
So
know
what
you
you
had.
yeah,
I
so
know
what
you did. Okay, I'm sorry.
that's okay. No, no, what you saw there is only a trailer. So a trailer is just a teaser for what's coming.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
why so why I want to make that film is that I believe that the world can benefit from learning about the Pamir area of Tajikistan. And like, as you know, I'm a Smiley. I come from the global Jamaat outside. I believe that because we live in a globalized world, that we need to, most of my films are about indigenous people that are connected to nature and the spirituality of those people. Now, when I kind of came to like the Pamir area, I realized like the simplicity of life and um, how beautiful the connection between the people and nature is, and how they're so spiritual. Like after being disconnected from our imamat for a long time, the people remained on the path and like followed, they were I just found that the people are so pure and beautiful. And there's a reason why. It's because they are at the end of a long road, and the society of materialism, society and like globalization and capitalism and hasn't really stripped away the pure goodness of the people there. And I also believe that the world needs to see good examples of Muslims, not just the extremists that are doing terrible things, but Muslims that are living in harmony with nature, that are just appreciating life. I feel like maybe people in this region, they may have less material things, but they have a beautiful smile and a beautiful culture that is very important to see. Like sometimes we work in the Western world, we work our whole lives just to have that smile on our face, where a simple old man who's living in a farm there has a bigger smile. So what's the secret to life? Are we going to have all these work our lives away to be slaves to have things, or is happiness really a state of mind? I just fell in love with it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And
So
I really appreciate what you're doing, and keep it up. Just keep it up. And
okay,
I'm very proud of you, Farhan.
cool, man. Well, I hope we can work together on something cool like that film even. So I was actually there in Tajikistan teaching at UCA for a week, and I extended
Mhm.
my stay to produce this short trailer. So but I worked, I stayed there for a few weeks. And I wasn't originally there to make a film, but I'm very hungry. I'm very like, I see an opportunity and I go for it. That's my personality. So that's why.
Yeah, that's
Farhan,
cool.
Yeah.
just a quick question. Do you have
Yeah.
any website or any, I don't know, just maybe
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
media account?
Yeah.
So just to be updated on the initiatives you are taking, and maybe just to be part of the global initiatives if you are
Absolutely.
planning, it would be good to share. Thank you.
Yeah. So let me put it at the end of the slide here maybe, and I can just or I can just tell you guys actually. So should I just post it? Like I can just write it in the chat here actually. So my Instagram is Vovo Productions.
Yes,
So
could you type it? Oh yeah, yeah, should.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's at Vovo, VOVO Productions. That's my Instagram. You can follow me there. I have to like be better about posting. I've been doing so many productions. I haven't been keeping up with it, but you can see a lot of the stories that I have there, like of my filmmaking around the world, my teaching programs, and I can keep you guys informed and up to date. And then I also have a website, vovoproductions.com, which we're actually redoing. It's actually very much older content, but I'm now updating it. And I would love to be in touch with anybody. You guys can add me on Facebook or follow Vovo Productions on Facebook and just send me a message, or on Instagram. I'm very responsive and very friendly. Like I don't think very highly of myself. I just feel like I'm just starting my career in filmmaking. So it's not like I feel like I've made anything or made, you know what I mean? Like my attitude is I'm just starting and I'm very hungry to succeed.
Mm, yeah. We'll also add your website to the Usain group
Sure.
in Facebook, and people can find the information of what they need, or they can just get in touch with you.
Okay. Sounds great. Sounds great. So
And
it's now like an hour or so past. Like how are we doing for time? Is there anything else that I can talk about or show
yeah,
you?
yeah, Farhan, if anybody has a question, so they can ask question and we can end the Zoom.
Sure. For sure.
Guys, do you have questions?
I'm ready for your questions, and you can make them hard too. No
Yeah,
problem.
any question, just don't feel shy.
Yeah.
No, I think nobody has question, but they can message you in private and they can ask their
Of
questions.
course. Of course. Of course.
Farhan, we as a you.
Farhan?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question. Just,
Yeah.
do you also produce any kind of like social video materials, like probably on domestic violence or just gender violence, or like any
Mm.
types of like? Have you ever been in a production of something like that?
I've done like public service announcement when it, but mostly my work has been around environment and conservation, which actually, ironically, is connected to like the health of women in society too, because I think if we support women, we'll have healthy environments too. Because women are, whether we like it or not, and this is for the guys out there, we are all actually, men are actually modified women when it comes to biology. So really the amount of energy that a woman puts into future generations of humanity is far more than a man. And I can explain this very simply biologically, is that men have a Y chromosome and we only need, so we have, women are XX, you guys know this, right? Have you heard of that before? XX?
Yeah,
And,
exactly, yes.
yeah, and men are XY, but we only need one copy of a chromosome to actually encode all of the genes to make a human being. So you can actually take away the Y chromosome entirely take it away, and you will have a perfectly normal human being without any defect. So you can take it away, and do you know what the actual human being would be? A perfectly normal woman. So
you should say it from a big platform to the whole world.
I want to. There's one, actually, I would like to produce this film, because people, I've heard so many times from especially the religious leaders that God created man first and then the woman came to be the partner. Actually, no. We all evolved from a common ancestor, and men should have a supportive role in actually protecting and supporting the more important part of our species, which is women. Because women invest in the future. They literally grow the future of human beings inside of them and raise them. They're connected to it. All men have to do is produce sperm, literally. At the lowest, at the minimum, that's what a man's role is in society. But we should be more than that. And we should not be holding down the more important part of our species, and we should work together as a team. So I really feel like that's a message I would like to be a part of. And so if you want to work on that with me, I will be super happy, because I think I can be very forward with you. Most men don't even ask the question why they have nipples. And the reason is we are actually modified women. Men will never breastfeed. These are not necessary. These are leftovers. These are leftovers from the woman we were. We are literally women. Every human being starts off as a woman and then becomes a man through modification when the Y chromosome is activated. So news to all of you, women, the world belongs to you. Don't be fooled. You are the most important part of our species, and it's just that men have realized that oh, that they can use this physical might that was meant to protect women and support women against them. And I'm firmly against that.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
We are soldiers to protect the more valuable part of our species. That's why we have more strength physically, usually.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's some, it's a good thought for you, maybe just, some seeds to germinate on your mind, to think about, like, maybe to have some video material, just when you give a kind of a message that women, both biologically and by physiology and by spirituality, just to show all these differences, and also maybe just to give a message that if we protect women, we can protect the nature, we can protect the planet. Otherwise, nothing can be saved, because this balance which is created in the world, this is due to the violence which is happening right away and everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that could be something really like a call, like a message to the whole world to think about that. And I think just even from the point of view of religious, if you can take some, some kind of testimony from religious leaders, or just, from scientists and from different angles, that could be a very powerful video.
Totally. I think it's a great idea. So I'm open to collaboration on it too, if you want to work on it together.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Farhan, we as a Youth Alumni Network team, we want to express our gratitude to you for your assistance and for a great talk. And we really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for being with us in this Zoom and for collaborating with us. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, guys. I mean, honestly, if more of us are telling the stories that need to be told, we can actually work together to have a better world. I think it's a time of revolution. If we can all have a voice through filmmaking. So, and if you need help, I'm here for you.
Yes, we will, definitely.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.